Almost 100% of the law enforcement officers that we train, including FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force and FBI National Joint Terrorism Task Force people that have attended our training, have said, we have never heard this before. And number two, this is critical to protecting our community. So because we lay it out evidence about the threat, about the network, and we lay out the relationship between the hard left Marxist movement, which includes Black Lives Matter, and the jihadi movement. But for the purposes of this here, a couple examples that we just talked about, and then we can talk about a few more. Number one, we have the video. Sign up for Understanding the Threat YouTube channel and watch the video of the leader of Hamas in the United States, Nihad Awad, who is the executive director of Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, which is Hamas, per the evidence in the largest Hamas trial in American history. You will see him saying at a Muslim Brotherhood conference in Chicago, the Muslim American Society ICNA conference in last December, Black Lives Matter is our matter. Black Lives Matter is our campaign. And then one of the leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood movement, Khalil Sabra, says, we need to have a revolution in the United States like the one we had in the Middle East.
Turn your centers, Islamic centers, mosques, into registration centers for voters. Black Lives Matter is our matter. Black Lives Matter is our campaign.
Basically, you are the new black people of America. We are the community that staged a revolution across the world. If we could do that, why can't we have that revolution in America?
Now, this is open talk of overthrowing the government, and she works with the Department of Justice and DHS on refugee resettlement issues.
Sean, they tell you how on the internet, and you can just Google it, and that's what they do. When they see the captions on the social media or whatever, they just know they can do it. Oshan is one of the most beloved Yoruba deities, which, when respected and properly invoked, she holds the key to love, success, and what? Pregnancy. So all they do is mess with the food, mess with everything to cause you to be infertile, and it just pushes people to go on the internet and look for ways to be fertile. And they find Oshan. But you can't invoke Oshan without invoking her gay husband. This stuff is crazy, ain't it? This pretty self. Pause. You cannot invoke Oshan without invoking her ex-husband, Erno. According to African mythology, he is a bisexual god that switches genders. He would abandon Oshan. This is what happened to her. This is why she crying the tears of the river. He would abandon Oshan for long periods to dwell on land and switch to female gender. She was so upset with him that she begged the gods to free her from the marriage. This is why she is sometimes depicted with rivers of water coming as tears from her eyes. When a man cheats or looks upon other women, Oshan's daughters always pray for divorce and desire to dissolve their marriages under the influence of spirits. This gay demon is what makes homosexuality and lesbianism synonymous with Oshan worship. Men are totally emasculated and desire male approval to the extent that they desire male intimacy over female intimacy because of these demon spirits. This is what happened, y'all. They invoked all of this stuff. Santeria is a parallel of Yoruba, all the gods are the same, everything's the same, but Santeria is really big in New York and different places, but it's from Dominican descent. But followers of, Cuban and Dominican descent, but followers of Santeria are often Roman Catholics as well. So they use Catholic symbolism in Santeria, but it's all still Oshan. Oshan is still the god or still the Orisha that they all worship, and it's still the manifestation of Olodumare. But because of the Roman Catholic parallel, this is why, remember I mentioned the candles? You got the hoodoo saints, which is Saint Rita. So Saint Rita is from Catholicism, but she's also a goddess in Santeria, which is from Oshan in Yoruba. Y'all got the picture? All the same stuff, just parallels, right? She's the patron of difficult marriages, abusive relationships, difficult family matters, and rebellious children. So whenever a woman is having a problem, you get this candle and you burn it. And it'll help you with revenge against abusive spouses, dominating unfaithful partners, dominating troublesome family members, and dominating rebellious teenagers. Y'all still with me? This is the BLM lady, Patrice Cullors. And she's getting ready to do a full
One did concrete things like
the
to be
eagle's
reckless.
wings.
If I were, really a politician, distinguished with someone who finds himself in politics, if I had that kind of capacity, that kind
That's
of capability,
James Baldwin talking.
what I would do in Harlem, for example, would be to organize a massive rent strike and have nobody pay the rent.
That's the BLM lady.
I mean it.
And she's doing a full, in the
Have
city,
nobody pay the rent.
Yoruba
This is a
ritual
ghetto.
with the eagle's wings.
I don't care how much rent you're paying or how pretty your apartment is. This is a ghetto because you can't get out.
This is a caption from their page. They say all women are owners of this power that they use called a yai, which is the primordial earth energy. They believe a yai is the purest form of energy, that it is the first fruit born from the sacred tree of life called the aruka tree. For this reason, women are known to have a monopoly or manifestation through prayer and spiritual work. So the woman is fully in control. It's believed that the woman becomes remarkable and pronounced after the first pregnancy, and it can continue to do so with each pregnancy. So the more pregnancies she has, the more power. The power is developed through the spiritual force used to bring a child from the spirit world to the physical world through the mother's genitalia. And the mother's genitalia is regarded as a divine porthole. So they're worshiping the womb. It's all womb worship. Homosexuals and trans blacks. Ancient legends have always forced the genders together to prove that the woman was first born and reproduced asexually as a goddess. So they worship the woman because they believe the woman was first born. So whenever people are lifted up and celebrated, when the woman is lifted up and celebrated higher than he is, this is the story of Nimrod, Osiris, Tammuz, all the parallels, the same birth of a son married to his mother. This is how she became asexual. She actually gave birth to her husband, which is her son, which puts her above the man. Women claim this authority. Witchcraft is being used to cast this spell over our world, just as it was in the days of the Tower of Babel. Listen to this part. When you bring the Tower of Babel, you got to bring Nimrod, Semiramis, and this story. So because they have created CERN and brought the internet and recreated the whole Tower of Babel scenario, this spirit had to come.
The founders of Black Lives Matter and all them are actually into an anti-African cult that feeds off the energy of black people.
It's just a fact that Saul Alinsky dedicated his book, Rules for Radicals, to Lucifer. People are celebrating Satan in the way that many of us Christians celebrate God. And so, it's about black people, their suffering, and their agenda being used to further a cause that's much bigger. And it is the Marxist socialism, the cultural Marxism, that they are making promises to blacks and other groups that are disenfranchised or poor, but it takes us back to the same failed Marxist socialist goals.
We actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists.
Patrice Cullors, the one you just heard there, saying that she's a trained Marxist and that she and other BLM co-founders are trained Marxists. He said, quote, "I'm calling for spirituality to be deeply radical. We're not just having a social justice movement. This is a spiritual movement."
Maybe I'm sharing too much, but we become very intimate with the spirits that we call on regularly, right? Like each of them seems to have a different presence and personality. I laugh a lot with Waukesha. you know? And I didn't meet her in her body, right? I met her through this work.
Dr. Abdullah and Patrice Cullors talks about summoning the spirits of the dead, using the power of the spirits of the dead in order to give them the ability to do what they're calling the so-called justice work. You're gonna find that what they're describing is their adherence to the Yoruba religion of Ifa or Ifa.
I started to feel personally connected and responsible and accountable to them, both from a deeply political place, but also from a deeply spiritual place.
Now, in case you're wondering who that is speaking, that is Patrice Cullors, co-founder of the Black Lives Matter organization, the same one you just heard saying, we are trained Marxists.
Say their names. We do that all the time, that you kind of invoke that spirit, and then those spirits actually become present with you.
Now, y'all see all of this, the NBA, all on the jersey, say her name. They're not doing what you think they're doing. You think they're just honoring people. They are conjuring up spirits.
So when we say it's a spiritual battle, it is. These women, these Marxists, who tell you we don't want men to have testicles, we don't want to have a black family. How could you say you're a bigger enemy of humans or black people than to say we are here to destroy the family? That is their maxim.
80% of abortion clinics in America are in minority neighborhoods. Over 22,500,000 black babies have been aborted in 50 years. Over 22,500,000 black babies have been aborted in 50 years.
You cannot say Black Lives Matter and then kill yourselves.
And you look at the spell they've got over people that have taken on this, just murder the police, murder innocent people, shoot people at checkpoints, burn things down, go into restaurants and attack people because of what color they are. And these women conducting their little white magic rituals out in the open like Irina Baranovich does, but then the black magic is done internally. I mean, these are just arrogant, slob-like jokes. But they've got the power of Soros, who is a dark magician of the highest order, behind them.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. If you want to take over a planet, okay, if you want to completely take over a planet, the first thing that you have to do is you have to take out the alpha males or the strong males from the planet.
We're under attack. A skillful, intelligently designed takeover. You think the Queen of England lit that DNA strand with connected it with the tree of life? You think that was, what do you think that was? Because that has nothing to do with her on the outside looking in. That was a celebration. The real meaning of that was a celebration.
A question about the gay agenda. What is it? How do you define the gay agenda?
There's been this plan, like we usually go to meetings on Wednesday in black cloaks.
Okay.
Draw like a big star in the circle on the ground. We have like these cups of blood, drink it pretty much, and we kind of like plan like world domination, like to make everyone gay and then like decrease the world population. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
The two circles on either side are to control the male energy. This is not to empower the female in any way. This is a trick.